Our next speaker in today's session will be Sophie Wade. Sophie is the founder and workforce innovative specialist at Flexcel Network. She is an authority on a wide range of future of work issues. And I'm proud to say that she just recently published a book, Embracing Progress, Next Steps for the Future of Work, and it is available in the bookstore today. So let's welcome onto the stage Sophie.
So, I'm thrilled to be here speaking at Work Human and talking about an organization of the future. There's a lot of change going on in the workplace, which we're all dealing with. But now, the individual, the human element is coming out and being celebrated. As talent, they are the engine, they're the fuel of our future and our success. And so now there's an opportunity to develop our organizations to personalize the careers and experience of our workforce so that we can actually develop competitive and sustainable businesses. So, what does it look like? You know this guy? Does he work in your organization? People like that? Or maybe is one of you, in which case I'm extremely impressed, particularly in a suit. The point is, work is changing in all kinds of ways. The what, the how, the where it's being done like this guy, but also the why, mission aligned, purpose, and developing the organization, the potential, through the potential of each individual. There are so many things that are changing in the workplace and that one could talk about in terms of the future of work environment that we're transitioning to. But I want to focus here on careers and the careers of the workforce, because I think they deserve a little attention in terms of the changes that are going on, so that you can engage them and retain them and get the most out of them and they can be the most productive within your organization. So where are careers right now? The linear continuous compounding career. What do I mean by that? So it's someone who starts maybe as a marketing manager, goes up to director, perhaps senior director, VP, whatever the steps are in your particular organization. It's incremental steps up the corporate ladder. Well, that's what we've had. And it didn't work for so many people because it assumed a uniformity, that we're all very similar, but we're not. The linear aspect didn't work really because if we actually had started in marketing, but that wasn't really what we wanted to do, that wasn't so great. And the continuous aspect, if we had an ailing relative or needed or wanted to take some time out for kids, that wasn't great either. But it did provide structure for us. It gave us guidance, and it meant that onboarding people into your organization, they jumped on the career track and off they went. It's kind of self-perpetuating. HR was able to focus on the high potentials, and everybody else's career just developed. And hopefully after a few decades, you got a gold watch and retired at 65. Well, it looks very different these days. It's a maze. And baby boomers and Generation X aren't saying much about it. It's not so clear where things are going, but they're not going to say anything because they don't want to rock the boat. But I'm most concerned about the younger group. In colleges, they are still being told about career trajectories that don't exist. They're coming into organizations, and they're expecting that they're going to have nowhere to go. But most companies are not telling them, every single one of them, you have a future here. These are the next steps for you. And so they're lost. They don't know what's going on. They're looking for help. And some of them are looking for the exit. At the same time, many people have more options in terms of how they can work and where they can work with workplace flexibility. That's a great new policies that are coming in on board. They can work differently. They can adjust for the how and when they work best. It also means that corporations can reach out to talent that is far, far afield. But I talk to a lot of managers and employees, and they aren't being trained to deal with a distributed workforce and how to manage them appropriately. Are they being included in all conversations? Are they missing out on meetings or information? And are they missing out on promotions because they're not at the office with people? So they're not being remembered or incorporated in community activities in the same way. We also have many more independent contractors who are becoming part of the workforce. Ardent Partners and SAP Fieldglass released some interesting research in the fall, which said that 63% of organizations are rethinking how enterprise work is being done and by whom. But so many of the time, how many times have you had a consultant who comes in and can't print, and they can't get access to the files they need when they're working remotely? So they're working suboptimally too. They're not being able to access the information and the research or the corporate files that they need, that they're allowed access to. So there are a lot of changes going on. There are a lot of opportunities as well, because at the same time, the way technology is sped up, how organizations and how businesses are working, it's hard to deal with these same fixed structures that we've had in the past, and the fixed careers. So this really is actually an opportunity, reframing it to become an opportunity to take a different approach. The good news also is, see the happy face, that as organizations evolve, people do too. Human beings evolve. And now they have powerful mobile computers in their hand. They're more independent, they're self-starters, and they're entrepreneurially minded. Without necessarily knowing what's going on with careers, they do realize they're more diversified, they're more fragmented, and they may have many over the course of their lives. They do realize that permanent full-time jobs don't exist anymore. But they are looking to stay at an organization if there are possibilities there, if there is potential for them to develop and grow. Okay, so how many people here actually had somebody who is younger in the workforce who had been working at the organization 6 months or less who asked for a promotion? What they were asking for is, do I have a future here? And if you weren't thinking about their future, the organization, you did after they asked that question. You might have said no, but that's a whole different thing. The point is they are ambitious and they do want to share, they want to participate, they're interested to explore. So engage them, have them participate in the process, because honestly, you also don't have the resources to be doing individual careers for every single person. So engage. So how does career experience management work? First, form. It's developing a framework that creates form, but also provides for movement within that. People can move within the organization. They can move between departments and divisions. This is also important for having a company that is able to respond to the new faster-paced environment, because it allows information and ideas to be shared faster, decisions to be made, and new initiatives to be executed. It also allows for that human dimension. I may not be the most fantastic marketing person, or I'm interested in finance or business development. So it allows me to explore different options, whether the next thing that I'm doing is lateral or diagonal, as well as vertical. So creating that framework with the parameters that work for your organization, that are unique to the specific structure that you have, and allowing that movement within it. It enables people to be able to have different jobs within your organization, so they don't leave. And at the end, you get a much more well-rounded person who has a lot more understanding of the organization as well. With these lattice careers also is number 2, responsibility. And that's changing. Now that in a digitized world, where in fact only 30% of companies that McKinsey was saying in the US are digitized, That means fundamentally integrating the sort of electronic technology within their operations, fundamentally sometimes disrupting their business model. But with that focus on technology, you also have a focus on expertise versus years of tenure. And that means that somebody who has, say, 5 years of experience in mobile application development, that's a lot of experience in a fast-moving sector. So they may be given senior responsibility for that project, not depending on where they are in the hierarchy. That gives responsibility and authority a slightly different feeling. It's more fluid. It can be time-based, project-based. So number 3 is assessment and how that actually feeds into assessment and how not just the speed of performance reviews. There's a lot going on in performance reviews and how people are evaluated these days, the frequency going from a year to monthly and now weekly check-ins. But it also means that it's not just about the position someone holds and but the responsibility that they've had in that role. It engages people because they also know that if they move laterally, they might have some much more exciting experience there at a senior level, depending on what they're doing. And engaging them in all kinds of things around the organization changes their perspective of the company and gives them more relationships within that organization. So 4, management of these careers, which starts with involving the employees and getting their contributions. It also means facilitating and supporting them technically and whatever they might need, applications, software, if they're working remotely, video is important. The reason is that 7% of a communication is in the words, 7%. We all know how many mistakes and misunderstandings we've had through email, right? Most of it is in tone and body language. So if you can do video, then do it. There are so many different applications now to be able to use, so working with people remotely can be a much better experience. And so supporting the workforce, whether they're employees or independent contractors, allowing to have the access, enabling to work productively and efficiently is really important. And as the workforce composition changes, and including more independent contractors and freelancers, you also have this, number 5 is the extension. An extension, the extended talent pool, which includes former employees, different external workers and freelancers. It might be almost hires. And you have it's not such a strict definition of an organization with boundaries, fixed walls. And so what do you end up with? The future of the organization is something that looks like a living and feels like a living organism, has more options, it's more fluid, it's much more human. I talk about embracing progress, and this is the progress that I'm the most excited about. It's that human element so that we can develop these competitive, sustainable organizations that are that much more human. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause for Sophie. Thank you. All right, so now we have a little transition period. There are going to be lightning talks outside, and again, Sophie's book is available in the bookstore, so if you go out and go to the left, you'll be able to find the bookstore. You'll stay in this room if you want to hear about the organization of the future and the rest of the tracks, but we have about a 5-minute transition period. Thank you.